Hi guys, welcome to day 2. Hopefully everything worked well for you yesterday with the video and the assignment. Today we are focusing on email etiquette. It is part of, writing obviously, but it's part of what the junior high teachers wanted to go through with some of the procedures. So being the writing teacher, I thought I'd go through it with you. So, just quickly, probably a lot of this stuff will be like, duh, I already know it. But just wanted to review a couple things with you, okay? So, when you're composing an email, it's kind of like a professional email, obviously very similar to like a professional letter. You want to focus on proper email etiquette. So, in your instances, this would be most important when you are sending an email to your teacher. Now, later on, a couple of years down the road, maybe when you are seeking a job, definitely when you're maybe in college or something, some sort of trade school afterward, that you are sending emails to a boss or a professor or someone for whom you want to represent yourself very professionally. So these are some guidelines that we want you to follow. Okay. I found this quote from Emily Post. Emily Post back in the day would have the like manners section in a newspaper publication, all about proper etiquette and behaviors, representing yourself, those kinds of things. So I thought this was a good quote to start with when it says, let me try some of my little tools here, see if it works. Let's see. When this right here says, good manners reflect something from inside, an innate sense of consideration for others and respect for self. So basically, having proper email etiquette is a way to represent yourself in writing that conveys that you respect not only yourself and your work, but you respect the person to whom you're sending the email. So, just as a quick review, let's see if I can get a different color here. So, if we talk about etiquette, all right, etiquette would be kind of the very formal rules and manners that are followed in all like social or professional settings. Okay. So it's kind of this agreed upon way of behavior. A lot of it can be somewhat cultural, but in terms of this type of etiquette, we're talking about how you would represent yourself in writing. So you always want to think about the way in which you communicate, communication being obviously verbal, but also via writing, as that's a form of communication. It's very representative of you. So you want to make sure to present yourself in a very careful manner to your teachers and, like I said, down the road, bosses and whatnot. Okay. So when you write a teacher, you want to think of it as a professional exchange. Okay. How you choose to interact will convey your level of seriousness and professionalism. So this isn't just like a fun text to a friend, right? Unfortunately, even though it technically shouldn't, it can affect the way you are viewed by others. If you have not met someone face to face and established a relationship with them, and your only relationship is being started and built through this written communication, then you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself in the best light possible so that your teacher gets that sense from you. Okay. Sometimes it can kind of even determine how much time, effort, energy, kind of maybe they're willing to put into helping you. So if you aren't going to take the time necessary and to put forth the effort necessary, then sometimes the line of thinking is, why should I? If this person isn't going to respect themselves, the work, or me, I might not go above and beyond. So just remember that your emails, in this sense, and the words that you use, especially, this is a reflection of you and your attitudes. So represent yourself appropriately. Also, one thing to keep in mind, oops, I don't want to do that. Why won't this go? All right. Okay. Sorry. Playing with the tools and they're not working. Okay. So just keep in mind, right? You're not texting with a friend. You're not writing a casual message to an acquaintance, okay? This is a professional interaction, okay? And the person to whom you are writing pretty much has a professional, official position. And most likely they're going to be evaluating you in some way, grading your work. So always make sure that you are giving the attention necessary. Think about your emails containing the proper parts of a letter, right? Like we've talked about, conveying respect and courtesy. And this will just reflect the fact that you are a serious student. One thing you want to make sure to do that I think sometimes gets forgotten maybe, or could be accidental, like someone's in a rush, but make sure to use information in that subject line. That will help the teacher kind of organize the email, help them know what the email is going to be about, help them go back and find it later more easily. Definitely don't leave it blank. It just helps the recipient determine what the email is about. Just think of it as kind of like a, if you pick up a book and you read the back of it and a little summary or something, okay? So kind of think main idea summarization when you write that. Another thing that can be important, not only the words that you use, but also the font and kind of the sizing of your letters, spacing of paragraphs and whatnot. You want to think of all those little nitty-gritty details because you want your email to be very readable, okay? You want the teacher to easily know what you mean and easily be able to read it, not have to try to read between the lines or, decipher, oh, did they mean that word? If there's a bunch of run-on sentences because you don't have proper punctuation, that can be extremely confusing. So do your very best to make sure that it is very readable, very clear. Using a normal sort of font, not size 100 in all caps, that would probably make the reader feel like they're being yelled at. And like I kind of mentioned before, using the proper grammar and punctuation definitely helps the teacher, the reader, to really digest your material and understand what you're saying, because that's your goal, is you want them to be able to comprehend it. Let me flip over here. Hopefully it'll work. Did I go bye-bye? I don't know if you can still hear me. Hopefully you can. This is just a quick example of a proper email. You have the subject, right? It's obviously addressed to the person who needs to receive it. I like how these are kind of color-coded in order here. Obviously, just like in a letter, you would have an opening, a greeting, okay? So that would typically be something like, Dear Mrs. Anderson, just use that proper opening. Making sure that you're conveying respect throughout, kind of your main body message. This part here in the green is getting to the point of what you need, okay? So you can give a little intro, a little, how are you? I hope you are well. and then lead into the main point, okay, that purpose. And then this next part here says a call to action. Basically, it's kind of what are you hoping the reader or the teacher will do? What is it you need and or want? And that is a place where you want to be careful the way that you are phrasing that as well. Kind of like when we talk, if you've ever talked about, some like conflict resolution, or if you're trying to talk with someone about how you feel, you use I statements. You don't want to say, sound accusatory. You said I had to do this. You said I didn't do that. You would want to make sure to use I statements. Okay. Finally, you have a closing that just gives, if you think about this in terms of like a 5-paragraph essay per se, this would kind of be your conclusion of sorts, kind of wrapping it up, making sure to express your gratitude, your appreciation, and then always end it properly, sincerely, with your name, or thank you, comma, your name, or I look forward to hearing from you, comma, your name. So basically, if you remember learning about how to write maybe a friendly letter and the different parts of it, we want to make sure to have these parts of it. And then you want to think about your purpose. What is it you're trying to accomplish? And think about the audience, for whom this is intended, so that you make sure that you are conveying that properly. Oh, am I back? Okay. Hopefully you could still hear me on the other part. I haven't been able to do it yet because we won't have our Chromebooks in class. But so when I get to school, I'll kind of scan in what I made. You will get to take a peek at a very poorly written email. And then your job will be to kind of use that as a basis and basically fix it, make it a good, strong, proper email using this email etiquette that we talked about. Okay, so I hope you're doing well, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Bye.